It was a cold, rainy night. The streets were empty, and the sound of raindrops hitting the road was the only thing that could be heard. Officer Maya was driving slowly through the city. Her shift was about to end, but something didn't feel right that night. As she passed an old bus stop near the corner of the city park, her eyes caught something strange. A small boy, maybe 12 or 13, was sitting alone on the bench. He was wet, shivering, and had no jacket. His head was down. He looked lost. Maya stopped her car and got out quickly. She walked towards him. "Careful not to scare him," she said softly. "Are you okay, sweetheart?" The boy looked up slowly. His face was pale, lips shaking from the cold. His eyes were full of fear, and something else pain. "Where are your parents?" Maya asked. The boy stared at her for a few seconds. Then he said something she didn't expect. "You're my mother." Maya froze. For a second, she thought she heard him wrong. "What did you say?" she asked again. Now kneeling in front of him, the boy looked straight into her eyes and repeated, "You are my mother." Maya felt a strange chill go through her body. She stood up slowly, trying to stay calm. "What's your name?" she asked gently. "My name is Ion," he said, "and I'm not lying. You are my mother." Maya didn't know what to say. She had no children. She had never adopted a child, and she was sure she had never seen this boy before. She took a deep breath and said, "Come with me, Ion. Let's go to the station. We'll get you warm, and then we can talk more." "Okay." The boy nodded quietly. At the police station, Maya gave him a blanket and a cup of hot chocolate. He sat quietly, holding the cup with both hands. "So, Ion," she began again, trying to sound friendly, "can you tell me where you live?" "I don't have a home," he said. "I ran away." "Why?" "Because they lied to me." "They told me you were dead." "Who lied to you?" Maya asked. "The people who raised me," Ion answered, "but I found out the truth. You're alive, and you're here. You're my mother." Maya was now fully confused and worried. Maybe the boy was sick, maybe he had a mental problem, or maybe, just maybe, there was more to this story. She called the child services officer to check for any missing child reports, but no one had reported a boy named Ion missing. She tried to contact hospitals, shelters, nothing. "Tell me how you know I'm your mother," she asked. The boy looked around the room. Then he pointed at the photo on her desk. "That man," he said, "is my father." Maya looked at the photo. It was of her and her late husband, Arman. He had died in a car accident 13 years ago. She felt her heart stop for a second. "How do you know him?" she whispered. "I remember his face. I remember his voice. He used to sing to me. And you were there too. You used to call me your little star." Maya dropped the pen from her hand. Nobody knew about that. Not even her closest friends. She used to call her unborn baby little star before the accident. Before the doctors told her that her baby had died. This wasn't possible, or was it? She stared at Ion again, this time with different eyes. Could he really be? No. She shook her head. It couldn't be. That night, Maya couldn't sleep. She sat on her bed, staring at her phone, reading old medical records, looking at old photos. She remembered everything clearly. She had lost her baby in the hospital. The doctors said the baby didn't make it. They told her she had to move on. And she did. Slowly, painfully. But now, this boy had come out of nowhere, and he knew things, personal things. Things only she and her husband knew, and there was something about his eyes. They reminded her of Armand. The next morning, Maya decided to talk to the boy again. She took him to the child counselor in the station while the counselor asked questions. Maya stood behind the glass, watching. She saw how calm the boy was. He was not scared, not confused. He truly believed she was his mother. Later, she sat with him again. "Do you remember where you were born?" she asked. "I don't know the name," Ion said, "but the building was white, with a green board. Outside, it was raining that night too." She remembered that hospital. "Do you remember anything else?" she asked. He looked at her and said, "I remember your voice. You were crying. You were saying, 'Please don't take him from me.'" Maya's eyes filled with tears. She had said those words. On that night, when the doctor told her the baby didn't survive, she had screamed those exact words. But how could he know that? "Who told you I was dead?" she asked. "The woman who raised me. He said you died giving birth to me. But I found some old papers. There was your name. I searched online and found your photo." Maya's mind was spinning. Everything was unbelievable. Yet it was happening. That evening, she went back to the hospital where she had lost her baby. She asked for her old records at first. They refused, saying it had been too long. But after showing her police ID, they gave her access. She sat in the records room, going through the files. Her hands shook as she found her file. Patient Maya Khan, delivery date, 13 years ago, status, stillbirth, baby declared dead. She turned the page, but something was strange. A second form was hidden inside, a transfer paper. It showed the baby had been moved to another wing before the death was confirmed. Maya's heart raced. Why? Why was there a transfer? Who moved him? The staff who worked that night were gone now. Retired. Some even moved to other cities. Maya stared at the papers in silence. What if? What if her baby was never dead? What if someone took him? She closed the file, stood up and looked out the window. Rain had started again. Somewhere behind her, the boy was sleeping in the next room, dreaming of a mother he believed he had finally found. And maybe, just maybe, he was right. The rain had stopped, but the questions in Maya's mind were only getting louder. She sat alone in her small apartment, holding the hospital documents in her hands. It had been 13 years. 13 years since the day they told her her baby was dead. That night, the light in her life went out. Her husband died just a few weeks later, and Maya, she simply survived. She became strong, a police officer, a woman who never cried, a woman who forgot how to feel, until now. Now a boy had appeared, calling her mother, and her heart, frozen for years, was slowly melting. But something didn't make sense. How could she forget her own child? How could she believe so easily that he had died? She closed her eyes and let her mind go back to that terrible night. Flashback. 13 years ago, the hospital was cold and quiet. Maya had gone into labor early, months early. Her husband Armand held her hand tightly. "You're strong," he kept saying. "You're going to be okay. Our little star is going to be okay." She smiled through her pain. She remembered the nurses rushing, the sounds of machines, the doctor's serious face. Then silence. Too much silence. She heard someone whisper, "No heartbeat," and then her own screams. Her husband's cries, the moment when everything went dark. They told her the baby didn't make it. A boy. No body was shown to her. Just a quiet nurse who said, "He's gone. We're sorry." She remembered trying to sit up, trying to fight, but they gave her some medicine that made her fall asleep. When she woke up, her husband was sitting next to her, eyes red, and the room felt empty. So empty, no baby, no cradle, no sound of crying, just a silence that stayed with her for years. Present-day Maya opened her eyes and looked around her apartment. The boy was asleep in the guest room. He was peaceful, soft breathing, small hands holding the blanket. How could he be her son? But the way he spoke, the things he knew. Her old nickname for the baby, "My little star," only she and Armin ever used that. Was it possible? Had someone lied to her? Was her baby stolen? The next morning, Maya drove to the city archives. She wanted the full records of her hospital stay, not just medical charts. A kind lady at the desk helped her access old files and staff lists. There it was, Nurse Sana Khalid, the woman on duty the night Maya gave birth. Maya wrote down her address and drove there immediately. Sana's house. An old woman opened the door, her eyes tired but kind. "Are you Nurse Sana?" Maya asked. "Yes," the woman replied, surprised. "I need to ask you about something. 13 years ago, I gave birth at City Hospital. My name is Maya Khan." Sana's face changed. She looked away, then back at Maya. "I remember you," she said softly. "You came in with your husband. Premature labor." Maya nodded. Her voice shook as she asked, "They told me my baby died, but I never saw his body. I never held him." Sana sighed. Her hands trembled. "There's something I've kept inside me for years," she whispered, "and I think it's time to say it." The shocking truth. Sana invited Maya in and slowly began to speak. "That night, you gave birth to a living child," she said. Maya's breath stopped. Her heart raced. "What do you mean?" she asked. "The baby was weak, yes, but he had a heartbeat. He was breathing. The doctors said he had a chance if taken to the NICU immediately." Maya was shaking now. "Then what happened?" "There was a doctor, Dr. Kamal. He was involved in illegal baby trafficking. He had connections. He paid staff for silence. That night, he told the hospital that your baby didn't survive. They put him on the list of stillbirths, but I saw he was taken away, alive." Tears rolled down Maya's face. Her legs went weak. "You're telling me my son was stolen?" Sana nodded, guilt on her face. "I wanted to speak, but I was afraid. He threatened me. I was poor, alone. I stayed silent. I thought maybe the child would go to a good home, but I never forgave myself." Maya stood up, eyes wide, face pale. "He didn't go to a good home," she said. "He ended up on the streets. He ended up searching for his real mother." Back at the station, Maya returned, broken but burning with rage. She looked at Ion, still asleep. She touched his hair gently. He opened his eyes slowly. "Are you okay?" he asked. She nodded slowly. "I'm getting there." Then she whispered, "I think you really are my son." Ion sat up, tears forming in his eyes. "I told you, didn't I?" He smiled. Maya smiled too, but it was a sad smile. "I'm so sorry," she said. "I didn't know. I should have fought harder." He hugged her suddenly, his arms small, but full of warmth she hadn't felt in years. "You're here now. That's all that matters." The next morning, Maya walked into the police station with a new look in her eyes. She was not just Officer Maya now. She was a mother on a mission. She sat at her desk, pulled out a file, and began typing a full report. Case, baby abduction. 13 years ago. Subject, Maya Khan. Mother, Ion child. Dr. Kamal. Suspect. She added every detail Nurse Sana had told her. She attached the old hospital records. She included the child's name, her birth history, and even the emotional statement Ion had made when he first met her. But deep inside, she knew this was just the beginning. She needed proof, solid proof, something that connected her and Ion beyond memory, something physical. That evening, she brought Ion home again. He looked around shyly. Is this where you live? Yes, Maya replied. Now it's your home too, if you want. Ion smiled, but he looked nervous. Can I show you something? Of course, she said. He reached into his small school bag, the only thing he carried when he was found on the street. From inside, he pulled out a small wooden box. It was old, scratched, and had a small silver lock on it. I've had this for as long as I can remember, he said. The woman who raised me gave it to me when I was 6. She said it was mine from when I was a baby. Maya sat beside him as he slowly opened the box. Inside were 4 things. A baby bracelet, made of blue thread with the name Ion stitched in white letters. A faded photo of Aman, Maya's husband, Arman. A torn piece of paper with a hospital logo on it. A small yellow star made of plastic. Maya's hands trembled as she picked up the bracelet. I made this, she whispered, tears in her eyes. I made this in my 3rd month of pregnancy. I kept it in the hospital bag. She looked at the yellow star. This was from our baby shower. I called you my little star. That was your nickname. Ion's eyes filled with tears. I always felt this box was special. Now I know why. Maya hugged him tightly. You are my little star. You always were. Later that night, Maya carefully took the photo and the torn hospital paper to her scanner. She zoomed in. The hospital logo was real, but something was odd. The paper was a part of a patient transfer form. The name was cut off, but the printed numbers were clear. Patient ID 5213A. Ward Nick Wing B. Date 13 years ago. That was the same day she gave birth. She searched the hospital database. Her patient ID 5213. Her hands froze. It was her son's paper, but why was it torn? Who had it? Why was it in Ion's box? One thing was clear. Someone took that form from the hospital and tried to hide it. But whoever raised Ion kept it hidden all these years. The next day, Maya visited Child Services to ask about Ion's guardian history. They found something shocking. No official record of adoption, the woman said. Ion was never legally adopted. He doesn't exist in the system until age 6. Who enrolled him in school? Maya asked a woman named Minaz. She listed herself as his aunt. Maya wrote down the address and drove straight there. The confrontation: it was a small house in an old neighborhood. A woman opened the door, around 50, tired eyes, holding a cup of tea. Are you Minaz? Maya asked. Yes, the woman said, confused. I'm Maya Khan, police officer. And Ion's biological mother. Minaz dropped her cup. It shattered on the floor. I can explain, she stuttered. I didn't steal him, I swear. Then how did he end up with you? I was told his mother died during childbirth. I was desperate. I had no children. Dr. Kamal said the baby was unwanted. Maya's voice rose. He lied. My baby was stolen. I was drugged. My husband died thinking our son was gone. Manas collapsed onto a chair, crying. I didn't know. I really didn't know. I didn't hurt him. I gave him everything I could. Maya's voice softened. But you kept him from the truth. You hid him. You erased me from his life. I was afraid, Manas whispered. Afraid of losing him. The turning point back at home. Maya watched Ion sleep again. She held the bracelet in her hand and made a decision. Tomorrow, she would get a DNA test. It was the only way to prove everything to herself, to the law, and to the world. She would also file a full report. Against Dr. Kamal and Menez, Ion deserved justice. He deserved the truth. Scene ends on strong suspense. Late at night, Maya got a message on her phone. Stop digging, officer, or you'll lose him again. No name, no number, just a threat. Maya stared at the screen. Someone was watching, and whoever they were, they didn't want the truth to come out. But it was too late, because the truth had already found its way home. The morning sun rose slowly, but Maya's heart was already heavy with shadows. The message she had received last night still haunted her. Stop digging, officer, or you'll lose him again. Someone out there was watching her. Someone didn't want the truth to come out, and she had a strong feeling who it was. Dr. Kamal. But Maya wasn't going to stop. Not now. Not after coming this far. That morning, she and Ion went together to a private DNA lab. She held his hand tightly as the nurse took a saliva sample from both of them. We'll call you in 3 days with the results, the doctor said kindly. 3 days. 3 long, emotional days. Maya hoped the truth would finally be written on paper, but just when she thought the storm was calming, another one was coming. A knock at the door. It was evening. Maya was preparing dinner while Ion sat on the sofa, reading a comic book. Laughter finally filled the air after many dark days. Then, a knock at the door. Maya wiped her hands and opened it. A woman stood there dressed in a long black shawl, eyes covered with sunglasses, lips painted deep red. There was something cold about her presence, something secretive. Can I help you? Maya asked. The woman removed her sunglasses slowly and said in a calm, bold voice, I'm here for my son. Maya blinked, confused. Excuse me. The woman looked inside the house, directly at Ion. He's mine, she said. I raised him. You can't just take him. Maya stepped outside and closed the door behind her, heart pounding. Who are you? She demanded. I'm Zara. I raised Ion. I gave him food, clothes, shelter, love, everything. You may have given birth to him, But I am the one who raised him for 13 years. Maya's fists clenched. You're the woman who took him from Manaz. Zara laughed bitterly. Manaz, she couldn't even look after herself. I took Ion when she got sick. He was only 8. I raised him alone after that. Maya's voice turned icy. He's not a toy to pass from hand to hand. Zara leaned closer. You're a police officer, aren't you? Then you should understand this will not be easy. You may have blood, but I have years. I have the truth, Maya said. And very soon, I'll have the DNA report. Zara smiled coldly. DNA doesn't raise a child. Love does. Who do you think he'll choose when the time comes? Before Maya could reply, Zara turned and walked away. Her words like a knife in Maya's heart. Ion hears everything unseen by both women. Ion had opened the window slightly. He heard every word. That night he sat quietly at the dinner table. He didn't eat much, didn't smile, didn't talk, Maya noticed. Are you okay? He looked up slowly. Who was that woman? Maya sighed. She's someone from your past. She raised you after us. Is she, my mother too? Maya's heart broke. She raised you, but your real mother is me. He was silent for a while, then said, she was not bad. She cared for me, but she used to tell me my mom died. Even when I kept asking. That's because she didn't want you to know the truth, Maya said gently. But I'll never lie to you. Ion looked into her eyes. I believe you. I always did. The war begins the next day. Maya received a letter, a court summons. Zara had filed for custody of a YAAN. She had submitted documents, school records, witness statements, even forged papers, claiming she was his legal guardian. Maya was shocked. She's trying to win him with lies, she said to her lawyer. But I have proof now. The lawyer nodded. We need the DNA report. It's the key. That evening, the call came from the lab. Maya answered, holding her breath. Officer Maya Khan, the doctor asked. Yes, she replied. The test results are in. The child Ion is your biological son. 99.98% match. Maya sank into her chair, eyes filled with tears. She had known it in her heart. Now it was written in science too. To face the courtroom 2 weeks later, the courtroom was packed. Maya stood on one side, strong, silent, a copy of the DNA report in her hand. Zara stood on the other, wearing a fake look of sorrow. Ayan sat in the middle, holding Maya's hand tightly. The judge listened to both sides. Zara spoke of her years with the boy, how she gave up everything for him, how she fed him, taught him, loved him. Then Maya stood and read her statement. My son was taken from me the night he was born. I believed he had died, but I never forgot him. And now, after 13 years, I have found him. I have medical proof. I have witness statements. But more than anything, I have the bond of a mother and child that no paper can explain. Zara shouted, he will leave you one day. You don't know him like I do. But the judge silenced her. Then he turned to Ion. You've heard both sides, the judge said softly. Would you like to say anything? Ion stood up. His voice was shaky, but clear. All my life, I felt something was missing. Like a piece of my heart was lost. Now I know why. Because my real mom was out there waiting for me. She didn't give up. She found me, and I want to stay with her forever. There was silence in the room. Then the judge made his decision. In the light of the DNA evidence and the emotional connection between the child and Ms. Maya Khan, full custody is granted to Maya Khan. Tears streamed down Maya's face as she hugged Ion tightly. Zara walked out of the courtroom, defeated, but her eyes still full of hate. This battle was over, but Maya knew. The war wasn't, because powerful people were still out there. People like Dr. Kamal, people who sold children, people who would do anything to protect their secrets. Maya couldn't sleep that night. She stared at the message on her phone for hours. He was just one. What about the others? Attached, a photo of 4 newborn babies, marked deceased, but they weren't dead. They were alive. And if the timestamp on the photo was real, they were born on the same night as a YAAN. The past was bigger than she thought. Maya sat alone in her room, heart pounding. She whispered to herself, how many children did they steal that night? Her mind raced back 13 years to the hospital, to her blurry memories, to the moment the nurse told her Ion was gone. Now she realized Ion wasn't the only baby taken. There were others, other mothers, other stolen children, and someone had been watching. Someone knew the truth and wanted her to dig deeper. But who sent the photo? Why now? Maya had no answers, only questions and one powerful emotion burning in her heart. Justice, not just for herself, not just for Ion, but for every lost child. Starting the investigation the next day, Maya visited the same hospital where Ion was born. She went straight to the old records room, a dusty place no one visited often. She searched the birth records. From the night she gave birth, her hands trembled as she flipped through the file. For babies born between 11:30 p.m. and 1 a.m. Baby Khan, Maya's child, marked deceased. Baby Anaya, deceased. Baby Yusuf, stillbirth. Baby Tanya, died during delivery. All of them marked as dead. All born in the same ward, all attended by Dr. Kamal. She sat back in her chair, eyes wide. This was never an accident. It was a system. Finding the first mother, Maya contacted her friend Shabana, a nurse who still worked at the hospital. I need to find the mothers of these babies, Maya said, handing her the names. Please, quietly. Shabana hesitated. You're not supposed to access these, Maya interrupted. Children were stolen. Shabana, this isn't just a mistake. It's a crime. Shabana nodded, eyes serious now. Give me a day. The next evening Shabana came with information. I found one of the mothers, she said. Her name is Sumaira Javid. She lives in Lahore now. She left the city after her baby girl died, but she never had another child. Maya traveled that night when she met Sumaira. The woman looked older than her age, eyes tired, soul empty. I remember everything, Sumaira said, tears falling. They told me my baby was stillborn, but I heard her cry. I told them. I heard her. Maya showed her the photo. Sumaira gasped, that's her. That's my daughter, the yellow cap. I remember putting it on. Maya held her hand. You were lied to. I believe your daughter is alive. Sumaira cried harder. Can I ever find her? Maya looked into her eyes. Yes, I will find her. The secret network. Maya returned home and began building a list. She now had a hospital with fake death reports, a doctor with no conscience, at least 4 stolen children, and a photo from someone inside the system. But she needed help. She secretly contacted Inspector Rehan, a trusted senior officer known for fighting child trafficking. After showing him everything, he looked at her and said, this goes deep. If this is real, it's not just Dr. Kamal, there's a network. Maya nodded. Then we find them all, one by one. Rehan agreed, and they opened a secret case file. Operation name, Project Reunite. Ayan finds a clue while Maya worked. Late that night, Ayan sat in her room looking through the old wooden box again. He noticed something he hadn't before. Small, folded paper under the lining. He pulled it out carefully. It was a photo of a girl around 6 years old, with a pink clip in her hair, standing near an orphanage gate. Written on the back, Tonya 6 years, Karachi Orphan Home. He ran to Maya. Mom, look what I found. Maya stared at the photo. Her heart raced. Tanya, one of the babies from that night. She's alive, Maya whispered. Traveled to the orphanage the next day. Maya and Ayan traveled to Karachi. They visited the orphanage listed on the back of the photo, but it was shut down, closed 3 years ago, a nearby shopkeeper said. That place was strange. Kids came and went. One day it just closed. No notice. No reason. Maya felt hopeless, but Ayan pointed to something on the orphanage wall, fitted writing. It was a phone number, almost erased. Maya called it. A woman picked up. Hello, Maya asked. Did you once run Karachi Orphan Home? The voice on the other end went quiet. Who are you? The woman asked. I'm a mother, Maya replied, and I'm looking for stolen children. Silence. Then the woman whispered, Meet me tomorrow, but come alone. They're still watching. Cliffhanger ending, Part 5. Maya stood on her balcony that night, looking at the stars with Ayan. You were never just my story, she said softly. You're the beginning of something much bigger. Ayan smiled. And we're going to save them all, right? Maya nodded. Yes, every lost child. Her phone buzzed again. Unknown number. You found Tanya. Good, but finding the others might cost you more than you think. She stared at the message. The fight had just begun, and the enemy was watching her every move. The next morning, Maya stood in front of a small broken house at the edge of Karachi. It was far from the city. Quiet. Too quiet. She looked around. No traffic, no children playing, not even birds, just silence. Then the door opened slightly. A woman peeked out. Maya, she asked. Maya nodded. You're the one from the orphanage. The woman stepped aside and let her in. Her name was Razia. She was old now, thin, with tired eyes, and a voice that shook with guilt. Inside the orphan keeper's world they sat in a dark living room with old furniture and broken windows. Razia spoke slowly. Yes, I ran the Karachi Orphan Home for 10 years. But not all the children were orphans. Maya leaned in. What do you mean? Razia looked down. Some were taken from hospitals, some were bought, and some were given fake death certificates. Maya's heart sank. So the stories are true? Razia nodded, tears in her eyes. They called it the placement program, but it was a lie. They didn't place children with loving families. They sold them. Maya clenched her fists. Who ran it? Razia whispered a name that shook Maya. Dr. Kamal, and a man named Malik Tiran. The mastermind revealed Malik Tiran. Maya had heard the name before. He was a powerful businessman, known for funding hospitals and orphanages. A man with a clean face in public, but now, she knew the truth. He was the mastermind behind the trafficking network. He funded our orphanage, Razia said. Told us it was charity, but he made us send the healthy children to his clients. Wealthy couples, foreign agents, people with money. He kept the weak ones in the system. Maya felt sick. Antonia, do you know what happened to her? Razia opened a drawer and took out an old file. She handed Maya a picture, a teenage girl with the same pink clip from the baby photo. She was adopted by a couple in Islamabad. I remember them, but I never trusted them. Their papers were fake, but we were told not to ask questions. Maya held the photo close. Tonya is alive, she whispered, and I'm going to find her. The warning before Maya left. Razia grabbed her hand. They'll come after you now, she warned. You're too close. I'm not afraid, Maya said. You should be, Razia replied. The last person who tried to expose them disappeared. Maya looked into Razia's eyes. Then I'll be the first person who doesn't. Back in Islamabad, shadows follow. Maya returned home late that night. Ayan was asleep on the couch, waiting for her. She gently covered him with a blanket and sat beside him, but she didn't notice the black car parked across the street. Inside it, a man in a suit spoke into a phone. She's back. The officer? Yes. She's close to finding Tonya. A voice on the other end replied coldly. End it, before she gets any closer. A new lead: Tanya's location the next day. Maya visited the National Adoption Registry with Razia's information. The woman at the desk frowned. This adoption was closed. Records sealed by court order. Maya showed her police ID. Unseal them. The woman hesitated, then entered a code. A screen popped up. Tonya adopted by Mr. and Mrs. Jamil. Address: Sector F, Islamabad. Maya noted it down. But before she left, the woman whispered, be careful. People who look into these names don't come back. Faced with Tanya later that evening, Maya stood outside a large house in Sector F. She rang the bell. A man opened the door. Yes, I'm looking for your daughter. Tonya, Maya said carefully. The man's eyes narrowed. She's not home. King, I speak with your wife. She's gone. Gone where? Before Maya could ask more, a young girl appeared behind him. Slim, tall, with sharp features, and a familiar pink clip in her hair. Tonya toward her eyes met. Maya's confused, curious, but not afraid. Maya smiled gently. Hi, I am a friend of someone who once knew you. Tanya said nothing, but her eyes softened for a second. The man closed the door fast, but Maya had seen enough. Tanya was alive, and she remembered something. The setup that night. Maya received a voice message from an unknown number. It was a man's voice. You're brave, Officer Maya, but not smart. You're digging too deep, and now, we'll bury the truth with you. Then a second message, a photo. It showed her police office, her desk. The photo was taken from inside the room. Someone was inside her world. Watching. Maya didn't sleep that night. She held the baby blanket in her lap, the one that belonged to Ayan 13 years ago. Now it was back, stained with red paint and a warning note. Next time, it won't be paint. Someone was playing with her mind, but Maya wasn't afraid anymore. She was ready to fight. Ayan learns the truth the next morning. Maya sat with Ayan and finally told him everything. About the hospital, about the stolen babies, about Tonya. And about the people threatening them. Ayan didn't cry. He didn't panic. He just said something that surprised Maya. We have to stop them. For all the kids who never came home. Maya hugged him tightly. You're braver than any boy I've ever known, she whispered, turning the game. Maya knew she was being watched, so she made a plan. This time, she wouldn't hide. This time, she would set a trap. She contacted Inspector Rehan and shared her idea. He agreed. Let's catch them red-handed. They prepared a fake Fila made-up report that said Maya had found the location of 3 missing children. The report had a fake address, a small farmhouse outside Rawalpindi. Maya knew the people following her would steal it, and they did. Hours. She saw the same black car, again driving past her gate. Twice. Then, at midnight, a new message came. You should have stopped. Now your lies will burn with you. But Maya smiled. They believed the lie, and they were going to that farmhouse, where the trap was waiting. The raid at 3 a.m. A team of undercover officers waited quietly around the farmhouse. Hidden cameras were set, guns ready, hearts steady. Maya and Rehan watched from a nearby van. Soon, a black van approached the house. 2 men came out. Both wore gloves and carried bags. One whispered, burn the place, leave no trace. That was enough proof. Rehan gave the signal. Go. Within seconds, police surrounded the men. They tried to run, but it was too late. Both were caught. One had a burner phone. The other had a USB drive. Inside the USB was something shocking. The underground facility. The USB had a list, a long one. Names, photos, dates, missing children. All with fake death certificates. Some had been sold overseas. Some were placed into fake orphanages, and some, still missing. But at the bottom of the file was one strange entry. Safe House Batch 17 location. Codename, seller, no address. Just the codename. Maya asked the arrested man, what's the seller? He looked at her with dead eyes and said nothing. But Rehan spoke quietly. We've heard whispers of it. An underground facility where they keep children before selling them. Maya clenched her fists. We're going to find it. Tanya's secret message. Meanwhile, something unexpected happened. Tanya sent Maya a message. It was just one word. Help. Maya's hands shook. She texted back. Where are you? Tonya replied. I heard them talking. They said move her to the cellar before that woman finds her. Please. I don't want to go. Maya's heart dropped. They were planning to move Tonya. That meant she was still in Islamabad, but not for long. The race against time. Maya and Rehan worked fast. They searched old properties owned by Malik Taran, the businessman behind the child network. They found something: an old wine factory, shut down years ago. The place had underground cellars, and it was located on the outskirts of Islamabad, the perfect hiding place. The moment froze. Maya stood in the underground cellar. 7 children trapped behind bars. Tonya standing in front, her small hand gripping Maya's tightly. Behind them, Malik Taran, the monster behind it all, gun in hand, calm, smiling. "You should have stopped, Officer Maya," he said coldly. "But now, I'll do it for you." Rehan shouted, "Drop your weapon." Malik laughed. "You think you're in control? This place is mine. I have more men coming now." And suddenly gunshots from both sides. The fight begins. Chaos broke out in the dark cellar. Police officers shouted. Children screamed. Bullets flew. Rehan pulled Maya behind a wall. "Take the children out now," he yelled. Maya nodded and ran back to the cages. The keys were on a guard's body nearby. She grabbed them, shaking one by one. She opened each cage. The children were scared, weak, but they followed her. Tonya held her hand tightly. "I knew you'd come," she whispered. Maya smiled through tears. "And I won't let them take you again," Rehan said. Rehan and 2 officers fought back hard. Malik's guards were strong but not ready for a real fight. Rehan tackled one, disarmed another. But then a shot rang out. Rehan dropped to the floor. Maya turned and screamed. Blood spread under him, but he raised his hand and said, "Go. Don't stop." Maya hesitated. Her heart ached, but she knew the children came first. Viaskyat Maya, and the kids ran through the dark tunnels of the factory. She guided them up the stairs, one by one. Outside, backup had finally arrived. Dozens of officers stormed the building. Malik tried to run, but this time, there was no way out. 2 officers tackled him to the ground. "Game over," one of them said. Malik didn't speak. He just stared at Maya as she stood with Tanya beside her. He whispered coldly, "They'll replace me. You've won nothing." But Maya replied firmly, "Maybe I didn't stop all of them, but I stopped you, and saved these children. And that's everything." The reunion back at the police station. The children were cleaned, fed, and given medical care. Social workers arrived. TV cameras flashed. The news spread like fire. Child trafficking ring busted. Hero officer rescues 7 children. But Maya didn't care about the cameras. She only cared about the girl sitting beside her. Tonya learns the truth in a quiet room. Maya held a folder in her hands. She gave it to Tonya. Inside were photos of a young mother in the hospital, a crying baby, a false death certificate, and a truth buried for 13 years. Tonya's lips trembled. "I was taken." Maya nodded. "But you were never forgotten. I've searched for you since the day you were born." Tonya looked at her, and softly asked, "Are you my mother?" Maya held her close. "Yes, I am. And I never stopped loving you." They both cried, not tears of pain, but of finally being whole again. Justice is served. Malik Taran was sentenced to life in prison. Razia testified and entered witness protection. Rehan survived his wound and returned to duty after 6 months. He smiled at Maya and said, "Told you we'd win." The police department created a new special unit, Project Ion, to find and rescue lost children, named after the little boy who had unknowingly started the journey.